Good morning. Happy Wednesday, April 29th. It is 10 a.m. over here on the East Coast. It is a gloomy day. Hey, girl, how are you? It is a gloomy day here. Hopefully, it's a little bit more sunshine for you all wherever you may be. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe. We've got a couple of things. We've got a heavy packed show today. If you were here yesterday, Disney told me I could. What up, T? Disney said, we not letting you play Jimmy Kimmel. Y'all got to go to his channel and see it for yourself. So that's what happened to the live yesterday. So no, I did not get struck. Disney just said, And I probably should have known better. I probably should have played it from somebody else's, you know what I'm saying, that was covering it. But, we live and we learn. So please hit that like, share, and subscribe. Good morning, everybody. It is a good morning because we are alive, right? We've got a lot of things to go over. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know about y'all, but real quick before we get into it, I love me some hair store lip gloss. I don't know about y'all, but I love me some hair store lip gloss. Like, take me to the hair store and let me pick out a few lip glosses that's not breaking a bank, but really, last all day. So there's that. Good morning, everybody coming in. Please share it out. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Come on in. We've got some funny stuff to look at today, some serious things to look at today. We're going to just be talking about an array of things. We've got, some more Epstein stuff. We've got some polling to look at. Of course, we're going to talk about the fact that now they want everybody, girl, love me some beauty supply lip gloss. We've got James Comey in the news. The farmers are in the news. It's just a couple of things. It's quite a jam-packed day. So, what up, Room Shaker? Hey, LaKendra, I think I saw your name dropped in here. If you're in the virtual part, sometimes I can't see all of the chats in the virtual one for whatever reason, not quite sure. But thank you guys for being here. Again, like, share, subscribe to the show. So let's get into it. Politics and plain English. We talk current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it actually means. Okay? What it actually means. Oh, you okay, Room Shaker? What it actually means. So for starters, today let's talk about Texas. So we know that Texas, girl, Tweety, just wait. We're going to get into it. So Texas, we know James Tellerico won the primary in Texas to run for Senate. Now the polling is showing that he is beating both Republican. One, Cornyn, he's already a Republican. He's already in office, so he's an incumbent. Then you have Paxton. Paxton actually is already in the Trump administration, but not in the Senate. Both of them are liars. Both of them are grifters. Both of them are no good. Oh, that's cute. Pipe. I like that. They're grifters. They're liars. They don't really do anything for the state of Texas. If you guys are wondering why you all are on your own electrical grid and always lose power a lot, you can thank these guys as well as Governor Hot Wheels. Another reason why there's 120 data centers in Texas, because they welcomed them in, took money from whomever it was coming from. And that is why Corpus Christi will be the first city to run completely out of water. Okay, we will be seeing water wars here begin shortly. So this is why. But just an update on the race here. This was done a week ago, about 9 days ago, actually. And we see that James Tellerico is beating both, 146, 144. So he is beating both. He wasn't my pick for Texas, but anybody but these other two at this point. right? That's where we are at this point. Also, we have the U.S. farmers. The U.S. farmers bankruptcy has jumped to 46% because of the fertilizer crisis, and years of losses. Good morning, Buddha Bell. And years of losses. Oh yeah, Tweety. Oh yeah. They tried to build one in my neighborhood, and we got them up out of there. They can't build one. They haven't been successful anywhere in here. But because of the fertilizer crisis, farmers are losing money every day, every week, every month, every quarter. And they are now filing for bankruptcy at an alarming rate because they don't have what they need to actually farm. Okay, they don't have what they need, nor do they have the workers. Because remember, when ICE was on a rampage, where were they going? They were going to working places. I never knew a criminal that really wanted a legit job like that, but okay, whatever. They were going to farms, Home Depot. This is why I don't patronize after Home Depot, because Home Depot allow ICE to park in their parking lot and go through their stores and hem up anybody they suspected, hey boo, anybody they suspected at being Hispanic or Spanish speaking, right? This is why I say go Lowe's. Lowe's is for their people, and they refuse to let ICE, sit up in the parking lot. The same thing with Target. Target lets ICE use their parking lot to park their vehicles, to do sting operations, all of this great stuff. This is why Wendy's is now having a hard time. Wendy's is having a hard time because it came out that the company donated so much to the Trump campaign and all of his little vanity products. It is coming out, and now Wendy's is also suffering. Okay. And I'm going to tell you who's not going to suffer, because they are seeing beyond Donald Trump. That is Disney. And we're going to get to that in a minute. And remember that I told you that first, okay? Welcome everybody coming in. Remember I told you that first. Disney is like, we're not going, okay? So that's just a little high level overview of what is going on with the farmers. Now, since I'm speaking on the fertilization, let's move to the fertilization factor and why the fertilizer is so slow, right? I just want you guys to take a look at something. I want you to see a visual at what this choice war has done to allowing the ships to come through, right? I want you to see the amount that used to come through to now, and why it has us in a chokehold. It actually has the global market in a chokehold. And this is why we are where we are. So just take a look at this. It's going to start, let it start over. It's going to start, this is February the 2nd. Then it goes to February 28th. Then we move March, and then April 25th. I don't know how to pause this thing so you can see, but you can see as it goes on. You see where the straight is right here? You see where the straight is right here? Look how it's bare. You see that? And why the Persian Gulf, they're wanting to send ships through right here, is all of that is becoming popular. But look right here. Look at the Strait of Hormuz. Just watch it over from February 2nd. Now watch. It's going to decrease. It's going to continue to decrease. Decrease. See, and this is the problem. This is the problem right here. We don't have enough movement of things, of oil being able to come through the Strait of Hormuz. Not only oil, but there are other tankers, other things that carry things through all of these waterways. And it's just dangerous, right? It's just dangerous because you have an unpredictable Iran, and you have an unpredictable is not real. And you also have an unpredictable Donald Trump. So these are the issues that we're seeing, and this is why prices of things are just going to continue to go up. And I do think that the government is doing a disservice right now by not being completely honest with us about the food shortages we're about to incur, the gas shortages, the water shortages, just the resource shortages all the way around. They're not being forthcoming and they're not preparing us for it. So I'm here to tell you, not to scare you, but to prepare you. Get your stuff together. Get your stuff together, get your bottled water, your non-perishable items. Also, if you can grow things from home, begin to grow those things from home as soon as possible, okay? As soon as you possibly can. Now, Australia. 60 Minutes has a 60 Minutes Australia, 60 Minutes Europe, like it has all those different segments of 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes Australia, though, is known for really doing the heavy lifting on a lot of sensitive topics, right? And right now they're doing a lot of heavy lifting on Epstein, okay? When I say a lot of heavy lifting, they're doing a lot of heavy lifting on Epstein. And I want you guys to watch this because this shit is deep. Like when I say this shit is deep, we haven't even begin to scratch the surface a little bit of this. Like it is deep, 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 deep. Okay. So I just want you guys to take a look at this and listen. This thing is deep.
Girls at Zorro. But they're recruited into the Epstein world by Ghislaine Maxwell. Shantae Davies was abused by the predator from 2001 to 2005. She remembers the rumours about the burial of the two unknown girls at Zorro. But there were also other terrifying and bizarre accounts shared with her by other victims.
Girls waking up in sort of like a dark room with a female doctor standing over them, feeling like maybe there is some kind of procedure that had happened that they weren't aware of. And I believe this is in the file. Sure, there's something in there about a baby actually being born and then just disappearing, like Ghislaine taking it. I personally never witnessed anything like that, but I do remember overhearing conversations about trying to create the perfect baby, the perfect gene pool. And I know that there was sort of a hunt, if you will, for the perfect gene pool.
Zorro was a wacky hideaway for Epstein and his cronies and a place to enact their most freakish fantasies, including at one point a plan for a controversial designer baby and human cloning project, in which emails from the files show the maniacal Epstein was prepared to invest in, as long as he remained anonymous.
We were hearing some of the most horrible and heinous things that anyone could imagine. The allegations span everything from the harvesting of sex organs to allegations of women having forced abortions or forced pregnancies, or coerced pregnancies. I think when we think about the stories and the span of stories, it sounds fictional. It sounds like a horror film.
And as the Epstein files reveal, men and boys were not spared, with Epstein accused of multiple rapes.
A man actually claims that he met Jeffrey Epstein, was brought to the ranch, he was drugged, and he describes in detail a scene in which multiple young men were raped at the ranch in front of him after he was drugged.
You hear about Jeffrey Epstein's penchant for minors and for young women, but not men. We haven't heard that before.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were serial abusers. So they really were super predators. And it's clear that this was just how they lived their lives.
I just can't imagine to have a desire to do such evil things so badly. Like what is inside somebody that's so twisted and so dark that they would spend their lives having a fully working vessel of abuse.
But perhaps even more chilling is the revelation in the Epstein files that federal authorities knew years ago but did nothing about these suspected crimes. As you'll see, in an absolute blindside, the FBI claimed to take over the investigation into Epstein only to secretly shut it down.
He was very close to being investigated and arrested and convicted like any other sex abuser in the world.
First recruited.
Take a deep breath. Take a real deep breath. That is a lot. And as I've been saying for weeks now, I have been informing you for weeks now, that remember Zorro Ranch, which is in New Mexico, they believe bodies are there of, at the time, young girls. They also believe they're babies. Remember, I said that there were people that were in Epstein's camp were caught on tape asking to buy Black women's uteruses because they said that there is a gene, their blood was so rich. And there's video circulating of that, and they were looking at them very weird like, and that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to create a bloodline of what he considered perfect. A perfect bloodline, and where he took young girls and they were having violent sex with them, and so violent that they have OBGYNs, and this is actually in the files. They had OBGYNs on payroll where they were stitching up these girls because of the level of violent sex they were having with them, stitching up their lower regions, because we're talking about young girls, 12, 13, 14 years old, and these men, these grown men that were old enough to be their grandparents, having violent sex with them. And can you imagine what it's doing to an underdeveloped body at that time? We know they weren't using protection because Bill Gates himself had asked the doctor for a penicillin shot to give to his wife as well, because he felt like he had caught an STD. He had caught an STD and passed it on to his wife. So these are the heinous things that have went on with this man and with Ghislaine Maxwell. And remember, there is a document floating around in Congress right now where they're saying that Trump is going to pardon her. And I do believe he will. Now, when that will happen, I am not sure, because when that happens, it's going to be, the only reason why that would happen is to distract from something else, because that's how he governs, right? He operates off of distracting, wave over here while something else is going on over here. I'm going to wave back here because I'm going to distract you from that as well. So that would be the only thing, but I wouldn't foresee him doing it right away. I foresee him doing it like at the tail end of his presidency, which that's a little bit dangerous in itself, because she could really blow the top off of a lot of things, because I'm sure she still has black books. She still has flash drives. She still has stories, phone call logs, different things that we may not even have yet or be privy to, that she could absolutely expose and corroborate some of the things that are in the Epstein filings. And remember, I said to you guys, and I do not believe they were only attracted to girls. I do believe that they were such high sex-driven folks that they were also attracted to men. And here it is in here that a survivor said it's young men in there too. And it's not so much about erotic sex, where it's more about control. Right? They want to control everything. And that's what really turns them on. It's, I can overpower you, right? When you look at the psyche of an abuser, where it's the abusee and the abuser, it's invoking power. right? To have control, maximum control over someone. And that is what fills them up. But that's also a sickness, right? This is a sick person. These are sick people. These folks are not well. And also remember, I said to you guys, this thing has so many layers, because when they start to dig up at Zorro Island in New Mexico and start to find bodies, a lot of these missing girls, we're going to find their bodies there. Better believe it. Also, you have to understand there are agencies that have been protecting this man and helping this man as well. They have. They've been helping him do all of these stuff, as well as they're helping Donald Trump cover up a lot of this stuff, because it has been stated in the Epstein files that Putin, Russia, has funneled over $100 million through real estate, through Florida real estate, that is. This is where Pam Bondi was the attorney general. Okay, Pam Bondi was the attorney general. $100 million through real estate, and nothing was said to anybody. It went unnoticed because everybody knows dark money goes through real estate. It is very hard to track whether it's dark money or not. It is very hard to keep tabs on because of the amount of loopholes. But this is a 60 minutes worth seeing. I actually watched the whole thing, and it's jaw-dropping. Like absolutely jaw-dropping. So it is definitely something worth watching for sure. Very triggering. Good morning to Bushes. Very triggering, but it's definitely something worth watching. Okay. All right. So moving right along from that, I know that was a lot. Moving right along from that, let's talk about this. And this is why I can never take this administration serious. Actually, let's talk about this. This is really why I can't take this administration serious, guys. If you look closely, this is in the Pentagon. You see the Pentagon seal in the back. Okay. And who is at the podium? Kid Rock. Kid Rock is at the podium addressing our military about the Strait of Hormuz. Y'all, this man ain't never served a day in his life. The only thing he served is maybe a little cocaine and a little pills. Okay? I cannot take this administration seriously. First of all, you have to have a certain level of security clearance to even get through the Pentagon, to even get in the parking lot. Okay? So to even get that close, right? You can't walk up to the Pentagon and say, oh, I need a visitor's pass. That's not how this works, okay? That's not how this works. The Pentagon, that's where national security is. That's where NSA is. That's where CIA, that's where all of these folks that work in those places have, all our generals, you know, people that are making high-level decisions about our national security, our military men and women. Okay. This is where this is going on. This is intelligent. This is the highest place for it. This is where this place is like a literal skiff. If you don't know what a skiff is, it's in a highly secure building. When you go in the Pentagon, you've got to take your cell phone and put it in a thing. You can't just walk around there with your personal cell phone. Okay. You just cannot. So we have this man, Kid Rock, right, who's a professional beer can smasher on his head, addressing the military in the Pentagon about the Strait of Hormuz. Please amuse me. What in the world does he even know about it? What does he know about it? This man can't even sell a couple of tickets to a show. Because remember, he tried to do the alternative to the Super Bowl, and that was an epic fail. I can't take them serious. I just can't take them serious. And you know what else I can't take serious? Do you know what else I can't take serious since I jumped to the cannot take serious segment of everything. You know what else I can't take serious? Hold on. Hold please. Hold please. I can't take this marriage serious. Like, come on. Guys. Right here. Look at the hands. Just look at the hands. Look, 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 look. And she's pulling away. Then she's looking like, oh God, he smells. Oh God, he's looking like, did she hear me? And then she's looking like, oh my God, it smells so bad. Let me take a deep breath and hold in my breath for a second and give this cheesy smile because I really don't want to be here, but I'm holding my breath because I also can't stand the smell of the stench off of this man. I cannot take them serious. I absolutely cannot take them serious by a long shot. I cannot take him serious. Okay. I cannot take him serious. But furthermore, let's go to this. 8647. This was done. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for coming in. If you are coming in, please donate to the coffee fund by hitting a super chat or sending a cute little cash app to $ the real K-Fit. It is running on the bottom of the screen right there. But anyway, 8647. Seashells on the beach. This was done a few years ago on the beach. And now we have Kash Patel. They have took in front of a grand jury, and we know that they lie in front of grand juries because it's been proven time and time again. Yet again, James Comey is indicted yet again, and I find it mighty strange that it's right after his daughter, whose daughter, who is a district attorney, who is one of the sharpest legal minds right now, who actually won her wrongfully termination suit against the Trump administration just a day ago. I find it mighty strange that after she won that, boom, they're talking about we've been working on this for months. Oh, have you now? Oh, have you been working on this for months? Because if you were 8647, okay. So let's go to the dictionary and see what 8647 actually means. So according to the Merriam-Webster, 86 is a slang verb meaning to refuse service, eject a customer, or get rid of a discontinued something. So let me walk you through this. So we go to sit down. We can talk about my son's favorite restaurant, right? He loves Bonefish Grill. So we go sit down at Bonefish Grill, and you may hear a manager walk by their server and say 86 Caesar salads, right? 86 Caesar salads for the day because we don't have any more Caesar dressing. It doesn't mean they're looking to kill somebody. It doesn't mean they're looking to harm somebody. It doesn't mean that they're looking to invoke violence against somebody, right? It means, because it says here, primarily used in a restaurant bar context, means an item is sold out or a person is banned. It has evolved into a general phrase of rejecting or discarding something. No mention of violence whatsoever. Okay. Remind you, Donald Trump claims to have hired and appointed all the greatest and the smartest and the best and the brightest. And yet they don't even know what 86 actually means. Okay. This is what 86 actually means. So let's go back to the picture. And the picture shows here, it says 8647. 47 we know is the pooper in chief. Okay. And so 86 per our Webster Dictionary meaning, it means what? Something that is discontinued, sold out, or ban a person. So if I'm looking at this, he's like, ban Donald Trump. Let's eject him by not reelecting him or impeaching him, or the midterms are coming. We've got to do what we've got to do. Or the rule of law has got to stand tall and not bend or break in the fold, right? Okay. But they want to now say that James Comey is now been under investigation for several months. And this is why, again, I can't take Kash Patel serious. This is the same Kash Patel. The same Kash Patel that they said, whose lawsuit got thrown out, but reporters had inside knowledge and were ready to disclose their inside knowledge in discovery, that he is so drunk that they have to push meetings, reschedule important meetings. This is the FBI director. Reschedule important meetings because he is so drunk that he can't wake up. That he is so drunk, they've had to knock down his door to get him the hell up. Okay, but our taxpaying dollars are paying for this man. You know what I'm saying? Our taxpaying dollars are funneling. This is the same one that decided to go over to the Winter Olympics. And the hockey team won and put them on a private jet and ordered lobster and a bunch of champagne and beer. And partied like a rock star. You cannot take him serious. These are taxpaying dollars he is using to party. Meanwhile, we are just trying to have a good old party at the grocery store by buying enough groceries to last us for the month and not have to break the bank. Okay? That's all we're trying to do. But we cannot take this administration seriously because now this guy, the guy that's like cross-eyed, he's always looking surprised in the camera, who wants to put a $5 bet up that he's the next to get fired? Okay, we can put a $5 bet up. Who's the next to get fired? But let's just take a listen here.
The U.S. Attorney, former FBI Director James Comey, has now been indicted for 2 felony counts. While many of you may read this indictment and view this matter as a simple investigation, it is the farthest thing from that. Every single investigation this FBI and our partners at the Department of Justice undertake, especially those that involve the threats to harm or hurt or even kill individuals, whether they hold public office or civilians in our country, are met with the same measure of investigative prowess and tools and personnel in partnership with the Department of Justice as anyone else. As the U.S. Attorney indicated, James Comey will be afforded every matter of due process under the United States Constitution. And as the Attorney General indicated, this has been a case that's been investigated over the past 9, 10, 11 months. These cases take time. Our investigators work methodically. They are career agents, career prosecutors who work these matters. They call the balls and strikes in the field as they see fit, pursuant to the facts of the case and the law. They took that information and made a presentment to a grand jury, a jury of peers in the district in which the alleged crime took place. And that grand jury spoke, and that grand jury returned a 2-count indictment against James.
Okay, whatever. A 2-count indictment against James Comey, right? This is what they're saying. They're saying they're taking this serious, violence against the government. We're taking it serious, right? We're taking this serious. We are, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking this so serious because this is the rule of law. This is the way that we do things. We investigate those folks, right? Oh, really now? But what about this? What about this? And yes, you hear them saying, bring Mike Pence. So for those of you that are wondering what this is January 6th. They're saying, bring Mike Pence. You hear that beep, 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 beep noise going off. Those are smoke detectors and alarms, the security alarms at the front thing going off, right? Going off. But that 86-47 was just so like, oh my God, beyond the pale. It was so like, it was just too much. We have to go after the former FBI director who is a highly trained lawyer. Okay. Yeah, he's no dummy, right? He runs circles around them. Is he my favorite person? Absolutely not, because I will never forgive him for him putting Hillary Clinton under investigation that close to the election. But however, let's be honest here. This is a witch hunt because he keeps failing at every corner and he's upset, right? They're upset that they cannot do what they want to do with their political rivals. But again, the hypocrisy of this all, and again, this is why I cannot take this administration serious. The hypocrisy of it all when these guys stormed the Capitol and was screaming, where's Mike Pence? And if you're wondering why they were screaming, where's Mike Pence? Because the Vice President of the United States always certifies the election. This is after Joe Biden was the declared winner and Trump was the declared loser. January 6th, delegates were casting in their votes. Mike Pence was coming to certify the election. And all of this was happening. All of this started from Donald Trump inciting this and rallying these folks and telling them to go down there and do something. It's the hypocrisy for me. It is the hypocrisy for me. Okay? Like, it is literally the hypocrisy for me. Okay? And let me tell you something. Y'all know that I am an aspiring attorney, right? Good morning, Barn Dog. The indictment that they wrote up, I want y'all to see this, okay? I just really want you guys to see this. Like, it's so unserious. Like, it's so unserious. It says on or about May 15, 2025 in the Eastern District of North Carolina, the defendant James Comey Jr. did knowingly and willfully make a threat to take the life and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. In that, he publicly posted a photograph on the internet social media site Instagram, which depicted seashells arranged in the pattern making out of 86-47, which a reasonable recipient who is familiar with the circumstances would interpret it as a serious expression of an intent to harm the President of the United States. Y'all, this is what the dictionary says 86 means. And mind you, James Comey removed it and said that was not his intent. But they wrote in there that he intended to bodily harm against the president, right? But then we have this. Then we have a pickup truck, Trump flags, let's go Brandon as a bumper sticker. It says Trump 2024 in bold letters. And we have here an image of a hog-tied US President Joe Biden. Now this is a threat. But just 8647. See, when you're talking about intent, you have to know the state of mind that a person is in. And you know, it's very hard with just 8647. It is very hard, especially when it backs up with that was not my intent. And it's a direct apology with a swiftness and an explanation. So the intent of somebody is really hard to prove in the court of law. If you don't have anything precedent that is set, anything following any type of substantiating evidence that can prove what the person was thinking at the time that they took that picture. This is why the intent to do something like that, you have to have like something like this. But they weren't outraged about this. They weren't outraged about him saying, good, I'm glad Robert Mueller is dead, right? They weren't outraged when he talked about blowing people's heads off, when he talked about when they bombed their girl's school, when he said he was going to literally wipe out a civilization. They didn't care about that, right? But something that was done years ago, now coincidentally, after his daughter won the case of wrongful termination against the Trump administration, now they want to bring up an indictment. And let me tell you something, guys, about a grand jury. My son, my 10-year-old son, could go get an indictment from the grand jury. That's how easy it is, because then on the flip side, the prosecution has to prove why this indictment must stand. This thing is going to be dismissed faster than it was written for so many reasons. There's a multitude of reasons why this thing is not going to stand. And so Comey had a few things to say. He wasn't happy about it. But one thing we do know, he is a skillful ass lawyer who has a skillful team aligned with him, okay? He just does. So I just want you to hear what he has to say. Hold on.
A year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be. And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values. Keep the faith. Well, they're back.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. And he said, well, they're back. And I want to show you guys how unserious this DOJ is and how ill-equipped and unskilled they are. There are no real skilled lawyers left in the Department of Justice because they've either pushed them out, they fired them, or folks are not going to put their neck, they're not going to put their credentials on the line for this madness, right? So take a look at this. Let me see if I can get it bigger for you guys. This right here, the National Trust for Historic Preservation versus the National Park Service. Now, y'all. This thing reads, the National Trust for Historic Preservation, a beautiful name. Please tell me Donald Trump didn't write this. This is a court document that they wrote up. They filed. This is, again, why I cannot take them serious. No one serious, no legal scholar is writing this. The National Trust of the Historic Preservation is a beautiful name, but even their name is fake. Propaganda. Because when they add the words in the United States to the National Trust of Historic Preservation, it makes it sound like a government agency, which it is not. In fact, the United States refused to continue funding it in 2005 because they strongly disagreed with the mission and objectives. They are very bad for our country. Y'all. This is what's going on. This is why we are where we are. We can't negotiate ourselves out of the choice war. The GOP can't even govern correctly with Mike Johnson, mighty Mike Johnson in there. He can't even keep his party together. They were supposed to have several votes taking place today, and they couldn't even have enough votes to get it up to a vote. And they're supposed to be leaving DC tonight. They're supposed to have the SAVE Act. They're supposed to be able to, they're supposed to fund FEMA, DHS. There's also, they've got, monies to vote on. They've got all these things to vote on, and they cannot even get it up to a cloture vote. And if you don't really know how something is passed, it has to go through committees, cloture votes, and everything before it is brought up for an actual vote. They can't even pass it through their own party, and they have the majority. Slim, but they have the majority. What do you mean a idea, a vote that you, a bill that you have written? You can't get it past your own people? This administration is preschool, pre-K. You've got high school governments, mock governments, their administration that could probably govern better than this. But this court document, they are very bad for our country. They stop many projects that are worthy. Who does this sound like, y'all? None other than the Donald J. Trump. We know that this is his rhetoric through and through. I looked at this, I said, yo, this is a joke. When the judge sees this, this is laughable. This is absolutely laughable. And they filed this 2 days ago. This is laughable, and it is a 9-page document, guys, full of verbiage such as this. Like, you just can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. And this is why folks that are career prosecutors, folks that, good morning, Big Girl, folks that have made a career out of working for the government have went into the private sector, because I'm not producing none of this stuff. I'm not signing my name on the bottom of this, because once the Trump administration is done, you are then liable for this. This goes on your track record. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Law school is expensive, but to even get to law school is just more expensive. Then to pass the bar is another expense. We're talking about at the minimum of $130,000 degree. And you think You think a really good, sensible lawyer, a career lawyer, a successful attorney is going to jeopardize their credentials and waste all of those hours, waste all of that time, waste all of that money to put their name on the dotted line for Donald Trump and produce bullshit like that, talking about it was a very beautiful name and there are other things more worthy? Find something else to do, like go govern, for God's sake, right? Can we go govern? And I'm so happy. I am so happy that we've got folks starting it. We've got some congressmen and women that are just freaking tired, okay? And this was last night on Lawrence O'Donnell. I said that backwards. I really love him. If you're getting a chance to watch him at night, he comes on around 10 o'clock.
Where Donald Trump and his Republican allies' actual priorities are. It is on garbage like this. You know, Lindsey Graham, you cited the quote moments ago. He said that 90% of the American people would like to see the ballroom. Actually, no, 90% of the American people would just like to see lower gas prices. 90% of the American people would like to see affordable health care. 90% of the American people would like to have affordable housing. You know, we're in an economy today which is actually now performing the worst it has since the Great Recession. The difference is when you measure consumer sentiment, people are actually more pessimistic about the economy today than they were during the Great Recession. So that's what the American people care about. It's a shame they don't have a president or a Republican majority who gives a damn about it.
Okay. It's a shame. And that is the winning message. It is a shame. They don't care. They're talking about vanity projects. They're suing the national parks historic. They want to change that name. They're talking about it is really ugly. It's a beautiful name, but it's more things more worthy. They're over here bringing up charges against this. Okay, again, it is just so unserious. They've got this going on. Like, guys, like, please. They've got Kid Rock in the Pentagon talking about the Strait of Hormuz these are people who are experts in this stuff. People that are working in the Pentagon. You mean to tell me Kid Rock is telling him a damn thing about the Strait of Hormuz? He probably doesn't even know how to spell it. And they want us to take them serious. They want us to allow them to, they want to think that they can gaslight us and lie to our face as if Donald Trump has not said at least 10, 15 times on national TV that, oh, the ballroom was going to be privately funded. Mind you, he didn't even follow proper protocol. Proper protocol is you have to get congressional approval to do any vanity project to the White House because it doesn't belong to you. It is the people's house. Then you're upset because the judge says, you got to hold up on that, buddy. You got to go through Congress to get that done. Now we've got Linda Pants Grahams talking about the taxpayers need to fund this ballroom. The ballroom, all because there was a stage attack at a dinner celebrating journalists. The correspondence dinner that's celebrating nothing to do with the White House. The president chooses to come. Where your Secret Service isn't even moving through the streets the way that they need to move through. You've got your head of national security. You've got Pete Hegseth walking through straight up, which I couldn't believe it when I saw it. You mean to tell me you're walking straight up through a ballroom and they're saying there's a live shooter? Like, are we okay? They snatch out Vance Pants well before they snatched out Donald Trump. And Donald Trump then tries to tell the reporter, oh, because I was trying to see what was going on. See what was going on, bro. You are the president of the United States of America. You don't have time to see what's going on. You'll figure it out on the way. They're going to brief you on the way to wherever you need to be safe. Talking about, oh, I didn't actually fall on ground. We've seen it in 4K that you were on the ground. This man is not well mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or physically. You understand? We're not dumb. We're tired. We're tired of the bullshit. We're tired of the lies. We're tired of the deceit. We're tired of the grifting. You got us in a choice war. Now you don't even know how to get us out. The Strait of Hormuz is closed again. Mind you, there was nothing wrong with the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody was owning it before you decide to team up with little Bibi Netanyahu and say, oh, we're going to bomb Iran. Not realizing that Iran is about that life. That Iran is not Iraq. Iran is not Afghanistan. Iran is not Gaza. Iran is more like Ukraine. And now you've turned those into martyrs, those folks over there into martyrs, and where they may have wanted a regime change, you've pissed them off because you've killed all of those women and children in that school, and you've displaced all these people from their homes. They don't see peace. They're smelling all these chemicals, and alarms are going off at random times of the night. They're trying to get out. Food is scarce. And y'all want us to take you guys serious when you can't even get that together. Then you got the Epstein files where you're lying about it, and you know that if you release it because his name is in it so many times, right along with his wife. Okay. And it wouldn't surprise me if his children, his sons' names weren't in there either. I'm sure that they was buying some little young meat too. But you want to tell us that we're not seeing things clearly, that you're for the people and that the economy is booming when the Fed chair said it himself, that no jobs have been produced in months. If you just look at how Black women, DEI, Black women, over 300,000 Black women have been pushed out of the workforce. Over 200,000 Black men are being pushed out of the workforce. And this is not by accident. Make no mistake about that. You know the reason why they're making it harder for graduate degrees to be sought after? Because they know the smarter the population, the less likely that they can infiltrate the population. Because a smarter person is a thinker, is a rationalizer. It thinks logically. Okay? But when it is far easier to brainwash folks that can't even read past an 8th grade reading level. Okay. They're rolling back things that keep our air clean. Even lab grown meat we have in the stores now. Make sure you check to make sure it doesn't say cell, lab, any of that stuff, because it's fake. They're literally writing checks to these big billionaires right in front of us. Meanwhile, the rest of us are having to work. You've got families having to work 2 jobs apiece just to keep the lights on and food on the table. And they want us to take them serious. They want us to follow their suggestions about a $400 million ballroom. A $400 million ballroom could buy 2.5, I think it's million days worth of groceries. A $400 million ballroom could take over 300,000 people out of medical debt. A $400 million ballroom could give over 700,000 70,000 teachers a raise. A $400 million ballroom can give SNAP for like 3 years. $400 million ballroom could lower our healthcare costs for 2 years. Are you guys okay? Is this thing on? See, they do what they want to do. They find money for what they want to find money for, except for the everyday person. As long as they're getting paid and they're able to order lobsters and steak whenever they want, or stage a DoorDash delivery to make us think no tax on tips. They find money to launch missiles. They find money to surveil us. They find money to fund these data centers, but they can't find money to restructure affordable housing. They can't find money to ramp up our education. They can't find money to ramp up and keep open those hospitals, those rural hospitals. They can't find money to pay teachers what they owe. They cannot find money to say, hey, we're going to raise the minimum wage. They can't find money to help families feed their children through SNAP benefits. Because here's the thing, let me educate you really quick. We would not need, see, jobs are double dipping, right? They say, we want everybody off of SNAP, right? That's what they say, right? But see, jobs will hire someone who is a SNAP recipient, right? And still pay them low wages. They're getting the tax credit for hiring somebody that gets food stamps while also paying them a low wage. See, if we didn't have all these low wages, people wouldn't need to be on government assistance to help them get by. But corporations are double dipping because they're like, we'll pay you a low wage to keep you on food stamps because we're also getting a tax credit. My God, today. My God, today. But they're worried about what Jimmy Kimmel has to say. They're worried about this. And if they think that Disney is going to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, good morning. If they think Disney is going to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, I want them to think again. Because let me show you something.
And that its new CEO tomorrow.
Brian, Disney and its new CEO, who is new to that job but not new to the company, showing no signs yet of caving to Trump's pressure.
No, to the contrary, Disney is standing tall today and basically saying there's no real reason to challenge its licenses. The company says it is confident it will prevail through the legal system. Disney also invoking the First Amendment in a statement today, signaling that its new CEO tomorrow is not going to cave to Trump's demands. Now, look, if he did, the brand damage would be enormous. We saw some of this last September during another Kimmel controversy when the show was briefly suspended, creating a huge public backlash. Most Americans say they don't want the heavy-handed government telling a channel what to do. That reminds them of authoritarian regimes.
Brian, Disney and its new CEO, who is new to
Disney ain't going. And more companies need to follow suit. More companies need to follow suit because just like all of those law firms, those big, massive, big law firms capitulated to Donald Trump, now are suffering. And they lost a lot of top lawyers, and a lot of those top lawyers went in and created their own law firms to go against that, right? And they're doing well. Siding with Trump is always going to put you in a trick bag and you're going to lose every single time. Disney's new CEO understands there is life outside of Trump, and Trump will not be here forever. He also understands we don't want to be like Target. We don't want to be like Wendy's, okay? We don't want to be like CBS. CBS, because of, what's her name, Danny Weiss over there, decided to turn that into state news part 2, state media part 2. They can't even buy viewers anymore because she's doing such a poor job. They are finding, this is why I do think that MSNBC changed their name to MS Now and separated themselves from the NBC network, even though they're still heavily tied, because they're no longer going to capitulate. When companies stop capitulating, look at all of the schools that did not capitulate to Donald Trump. They're doing just fine. They're winning in court. They're ordering to have to look at all the people that he fired, right? And they decided to take a lawsuit against them. And guess what ended up happening? The judge ordered them, you must hire these people back and pay them back pay. Siding with Trump is a short game. It's so short-lived. I keep telling you guys, racism is expensive. Okay? Racism is real expensive. Again, ask Target. Wendy's is fucking around and finding out. They are. They are. And see, these racist people that's running around on this earth thinking they can say anything and everything they want because they have the president in office that they wanted because it is their right to say whatever, they're fucking around and finding out too. And in this segment of fucking around and finding out, see, here's the thing people have to remember. Donald Trump has Secret Service, who is barely that good either. They're not that good either. But these folks is running around here as if they don't, as if they got Secret Service. Look at this.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I'm gonna walk to you. I'm gonna walk right to my house for you, bro. Oh God, I'm not trying to disrespect you, bro. I'm not. I'm the same nigga all day, every day. Are you kidding me? Where you from, nigga? Where you from? Where you from? Where the fuck you from, nigga? You from here? Get the fuck out of you, a clown, nigga. Oh God, you a clown, nigga. You from here? You a clown. What, you gonna smack me with that? Smack me. Smack me, nigga. Come on, yeah. Drop it.
Oh. Yeah, you got yours, buddy.
Call me another fucking nigga. I don't give a fuck. Hey, man, you learned this lesson, man. Call me another nigga. Who? Come on, yeah. Drop it. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I'm gonna walk to you. I'm gonna walk right to my house for you, bro. Oh God, I'm not trying to disrespect you, bro. I'm not. I'm the same nigga all day, every day. Are you kidding me? Where you from, nigga? Where you from? Where you from? Where the fuck you from, nigga? You from here? Get the fuck out of you, a clown, nigga. Oh God, you a clown, nigga. You from here? You a clown.
And this is what happens when you think that you can just say and do anything you want to.
Smack me. Smack me, nigga. Come on, yeah. Drop it.
Oh. Yeah, you got yours, buddy.
Call me another fucking nigga. I don't give a fuck. Hey, man.
Y'all are fucking around and finding out in real time. This ain't 1920s during the Jim Crow era, as much as a lot of them would love for it to be. Okay? We're gun owners and gun toters just like the rest of you legally. We got hands too. Y'all think y'all can openly disrespect people over and over and over and over again because y'all got a racist ass president in office? You still get your ass beat. You still get your ass sued. Okay? You still get your ass cussed out. Full stop. Just leave us alone. That's all we ask. Because if we really wanted retribution, we'd have burnt this bitch down a long time ago. Burnt this bitch down a long time ago, you understand? If we really want to get back, we'd have been in these streets and houses would have been ashes. Buildings would have been toppled. All we want is the same rights that you have and to leave us the fuck alone. And on that note, Thank you for coming to Politics in Plain English, where we talk about current political events and explain what's happening, why it's happening, and what it means. And I'll see you back here tomorrow, because I'm sure some more fuck shit that's going to happen on these here streets, because there's never a dull moment or a dull day with this administration in office. I miss Sleepy Joe, because like I keep saying, when we had Sleepy Joe in office, we could all sleep at night.